Hello, I'm Erin Cox. I'm the author of One Hot Mama, The Guide to Getting Your Mind and Body Back After Baby. This week I'm on week 10, which is called A Constant Quest for Balance. This chapter was one of the most fun chapters for me to write because I really felt like I was writing it for myself. And I know any mom out there can attest that balance is a really tough thing when you've got children. You know, balancing time with your husband, if you're married, balancing time with your kids, getting workouts in, juggling housework, and if you work outside the home, or if you have other personal endeavors like a blog or something at your house, it is so hard to just find time to juggle it all. And what I find is that I've got weeks where I feel like I've got it all under control. My life is balanced. I'm getting my workouts in most days of the week. I've got great food in the refrigerator. I'm spending lots of great time with my kids. I'm having a few really productive hours of work every day. Things just feel really great. And then I'll have a deadline. In fact, I just had one a couple of weeks ago, and I try really hard to keep balance, but oftentimes it just does not work. I'll be staying up really late at night working, or I'll be working when I would have normally been doing housework. So I'm not spending as much time as I'd like with my children. My house kind of starts to get messy. I don't have time to the grocery store, so we're eating out. And things kind of seem to snowball. My whole life just feels a little bit disheveled, and I feel more frazzled. And I don't like that, but it happens sometimes. So what I have to do is sort of take the time to rebalance myself. And it's getting a few nights of good sleep, go to the grocery store, get lots of good food, get my house cleaned up, go just focus on my kids for a few hours, go on a date night with my husband, and everything feels good again. It's amazing how you can rebalance yourself. And so one thing that I believe firmly is that when you have an underlying sense of unhappiness or dissatisfaction and you don't really know, you can't put your finger on it, you're not sure what it is, I believe it's because you're not living in alignment with your life's purpose or with your life's biggest priorities. So, for example, my biggest priorities in my life are my family, my husband and my children, my faith, my health, and really those are the top three. And so my work obviously is a fourth place, and it's really important to me. But oftentimes, when I've got crazy things going on, like I was saying, a deadline, work tends to kind of come up to the front. And so I'm putting my work before my kids sometimes, my own health. I'm not getting enough sleep or exercise. And that's when I feel like my life is not under control and it's not as happy as it could be. And I know when I used to work more full-time hours, I felt that way a lot. And that's actually what prompted me to reduce my workload, is because I just felt this underlying sense of dissatisfaction and I wasn't sure what it was. And finally, what I realized is that you need to live your life spending a majority of your time and energy in alignment with what's important to you. It's as simple as that. So in chapter 10, I talk a lot about balance with regard to all kinds of different things. Balancing, you're having your house clean enough, you want it to be nice and neat and so it feels kind of zen and peaceful with, you want to balance that feeling with being a fanatic and cleaning all the time. That's not good either. You kind of have to find that happy medium where your house is presentable, you feel good about it, but it's not something that controls your life and you spend hours a day doing. Same thing with time for yourself and time for your kids. You've got to balance that, Sometimes you're going to spend a lot of time with your children and other times it's not as much, but you need to find that balance that feels good to you. Also, you have to find the balance of time to yourself and solitude that feels good to you. Also, when it comes to spending time with your husband, you've got to have time alone with him if you're married to keep that relationship really spot on. So balancing time with him, balancing time with your kids, that can be a really hard thing to do. And then balancing working out. I've got friends who work out crazy hours because they want to, get back to where they were in high school or whatever it might be. And they do, they look amazing, but they spend so much time and energy that for me, I don't want to spend that much time or energy. I have to be happy with, being able to run maybe 3 or 4 days a week, going to the gym a day or two, or doing yoga a couple days, and eating. I like to eat good food and I like to drink wine, and I'm finding this balance. My body may never weigh 120 pounds again unless I really, really, really diet. And that's just not the way I want to live. I want to balance that. I want to be thin and feel sexy and feel good about myself, but I also want to enjoy life. And I also want to exercise moderately. It all boils down to balancing your time so that you've got enough time for everything that your life feels good. And then also, balance is really important when it comes to your exercise regime. If all you do is go to the gym and lift weights, your body's going to look a certain way. And maybe that's fine for you, but I truly believe that it's good if you get a mix of cardio, strength, and then something like stretching and balance. So the perfect workout week, in my opinion, is a week that has 3 days of cardio, 2 days of strength, and then a Pilates or yoga or some type of stretching routine. And for me, when I get that running in and the stretching in and the balancing from Pilates and just the micro movement toning, I really feel like I'm in the best shape. My body feels better. Everything just kind of feels loose and fit. And when you see people that do a lot of cross training, they do the weights, but they also do some cardio, they tend to be in the best shape. And it's also best for your body. You're not doing too much of anything. You kind of get those nice balanced, long, lean muscles. It's good for your heart. You're getting the cardio. It's good for your bones. You're doing some strength exercises. So like I said, like everything else, you want to balance your exercise routines and the way you eat. You can't just eat healthy 100% of the time. Well, maybe some people can, but I can't. I'm all about balance when it comes to eating too. Eat well during the week. Eat your good foods, your healthy foods. But if you want to go out and have an ice cream cone with your child, go for it. Enjoy it. It's all about balancing. You're teaching your kids good things as well, that you eat really well most of the time, but you have treats now and then. That's just the way life should be lived, in my opinion. So I keep continuing to strive to have balance in my life every day. I am successful more days now than I ever have been, I have to say. It's required a lot of lifestyle changes and being really present and aware and a lot of self-improvement, but I really, really wish that for you too. Just having that balanced life where you've got time for yourself, time for your kids, time for everything that's really important in your life, and that your life just, on most days feels really in alignment. So it's been so great. I'm so glad you joined me, and I look forward to seeing you next week, my second to last week, while I will be discussing chapter 11.